And welcome back to the Assembly Content Cabana here at Possible 2025, day 3, and I am joined with just generally one of the nicest folks you'll ever meet in the industry, Anthony Acquisti from Best Friends Animal Society. Anthony, thank you so much for being here.
Of course, great cabana, great folks, great weather.
Great weather.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
It's amazing.
It's hard having the beach so close, yet so far.
Every day is a struggle. Every day.
You live here. I gotta go back.
I moved here for this moment, Tyler.
Anthony, can you tell us a little bit about your role at Best Friends Animal Society, sort of your place in the nonprofit field, and just what brought you to that organization?
Yeah, absolutely. One step back, the people running around Possible, I come from that world. So it's great to get back in there under this context. At Best Friends, I led brand and marketing for a couple years, and I've now moved to more of a growth and a technology and a data position, trying to bring more people, more data, more resources to animal welfare. There's so much opportunity to bring the goods of this to the greatness of this, and got to make it happen.
That's great.
Making connections, building bridges, solutions.
Well, it's interesting because it's all interconnected, right?
It's all interconnected.
Like, it's not just, media is part of the mission. It's how you activate the mission.
Yep.
And it seems like you all are so mission focused.
Content and media, right? Content and delivery, the right creativity to the right people, and the best way to get that in front of them quickly and repeatedly.
So I guess it's a great build. Is what do you think that best way is, especially with, a unique mission like you all have?
So our mission is hyper local. It's also very national. We kind of have that. We have Mother Brand. We have the local. This thing is solved locally, and so personalization at scale. Whether it's a local dog, a local cat for a local shelter that's saying "Bring me home," or it's the national rally cry. Different channels, different screens, different messaging, different audiences. It's all there, right? The combination, the personalization, the resonance, all of that has to happen. And the solutions that are happening here bring that to the people.
Yeah, it's really interesting. My theme of the few days has been intentionality, right? Because, that's one of the most successful ways to target media is people are consuming media in a place they want to be.
Yes.
And it seems to me that your targets, they are intentional about their feelings, intentional, again, about supporting the mission in that way.
Yep.
How has that played out?
Yeah, there's a couple degrees of that. Intentional, like I'm bringing an animal into my home. Yeah, please, that's not passive. I give my money to this cause, also not passive. But other ways for me to get involved, and how do I uplift? How do I share? How do I, where is my intention at any one of those levels of things? But they all do require intention, and we just have to find the right way to invite people to the mission.
You and I were on a panel together, gosh, it's got to be a year and a half at this point.
That was fun.
That was a great time.
I was like a little more clothed at that time. It wasn't necessarily like a Sharon Stone moment there.
It also was in a basement in New York as opposed to out on a beautiful beach here in
How
Miami.
good stories start.
You know what?
Or end.
And I remember we were talking about brands safeguarding themselves against this concept of performative advocacy.
Yes.
And you said something that was just so profound about how, again, going back to intentionality on the brand side, it's about making sure your consumers, your targets, know your mission and are bought into your mission. And that'll help you sell a product.
Yep.
It'll help you generate, donations. It'll help you do all of these things. And so if you wouldn't mind, I guess, repeating that point for maybe a new audience.
The authenticity of a message, of a mission, and understanding where your mission is. Part of the panel you're referencing is about how much of a social justice brand could one be, or how much are the focus of the brand, where do you play in the political landscape? And so for us, our mission is very unifying, save animals, right? And so for people to join that mission is fairly like, I can get behind that. And then bridging it to the way they can show up, the way they can play, the way they can participate. Everyone wants to, knowing how they can best is a really nice bridge to make.
And you guys are lucky in a way because you're starting with such it's not come buy this product from me. It is everybody wants to save animals. And I think so you're already sort of, your foot is already through the door on that.
Look, I used to like sell credit cards. I used to sell $180 bottles of tequila. I was like, peddling cookies for a while.
That'll be in the next Content Cabana interview.
To shift for me to animals, right? And to like homeless animals, get homeless animals homes, right? Is like, I get to do this. And it doesn't feel like I have to sell that too hard to people. It's more about like, how can they play best? How can they participate? Because everybody wants to participate, but not everybody can participate.
Right.
Access to everybody important, understanding local participation levels, understanding, just the unity this brings and the greatness that it all comes with that.
I mean, absolutely. And it also, I'm sure, allows you for innovation in the space in a way that, again, other brands who are struggling to find that first step consumer, the consumer who we have to find these people who might be open to believing in our mission.
Sure.
Can you give us some examples of
when you have
innovation?
embedded trust, right? Like you're allowed to stretch. And I think Best Friends has historically been recognized, has been an innovative group from the jump. What the movement does is innovative in comparison to animal welfare and has historically proven that, recognized by some of the major publications, like an innovative space. I'm lucky enough to be able to push some of those boundaries, and what I get to see in conferences like this and with people I meet and with partners we work with, we are able to push the boundaries. Some of the cool things we're doing now are about pet wearables and pet biohealth when it comes to animals, and using that to augment behavioral findings, moving things from observational to scientific. Some of the things we're innovating with different channels, like getting it, when crypto was new and Bitcoin, we kind of got into some of those emerging spaces. Pet memorials is a consumer trend is treating an animal more like a family member, and pet memorials, we're seeing an increase in that. So pet memorials in virtual spaces, it's a really interesting thing. And these are just sort of like random things that are happening, but like, again, from the wearable, what do we learn and what's the lag between all of the sensationalized things that are happening versus the practical, impactful things that we can do? Because we're very innovation with impact, right? Is like necessary.
If there's no impact,
it's got to save lives.
Right.
Or lead to opening a door to save more lives.
Right.
We hold ourselves accountable to saving lives, right? Like just that, I say it half flippantly, but it's like everything we do, our board is motivated by that. Our donors are motivated by that. It's like, I can't get too extreme, even though I may want to, because I want to and need to tie it back to saving animal lives.
And again, I think that makes you unique in the space because you have that sort of moral lodestar, and you know that every single person, when people are working on your team, you don't have to be unsure whether or not they're in on the mission. You know that because you are there, you're in on the mission.
And we see it with our partners. I promise you, like with Assembly, for example, like the way they have shown up and shared their pets and foster in the office. I mean, there's just a wild pride that comes with our partner set that says we're here showing up the way you all show up for the animals that you all show up for, and we love that.
I think
it.
I think it just makes everybody, it's just
it's unifying.
Exactly. It is such a unifying, and these are such fragmented times, both obviously geopolitically, but also in the media space. It's a fragmented landscape. So, it's great to be able to talk with partners who are still maintaining that innovation, but also holding true their core values. And I think that's something that's very important for us as we partner with brands and also with our clients. You're in the Assembly Content Cabana.
I'm in the Assembly Content Cabana. It's a wonderful place to be.
A wonderful place to be.
Temperature right, cocktails cold.
I wish
all
cocktails cold. It's a little early.
I'm like, cocktails.
I wanted to let you know that you're also in the Tyler Goldberg Assembly Content Cabana Time Machine. And we are now going ahead to 2026.
It's very innovative.
It's very innovative. We're at Possible 2026. Sure. What trend in media do you think defined the past year?
The trend in media that defined the past year.
Now that is a really broad question. You take it and you run with it how you please.
I do think there's practicality behind this trend, truly, but it's automated optimization cross-channel, right? I think we have the tools, and I think we have the right audience intelligence to get the right social channels, the right creative to the right social channels in a way that's just very customer centric.
Right, and it's like a legitimate use of AI.
There's a legitimate use of AI. You know, people are using AI today, whether an enterprise has like operationalized it or not. I'm always like, the kids are using it, right? And there is a way to customize it all for per channel, go to market in an easier way, be in the right media spaces and places, using media as a live environment to test the receptivity of that creative, and we go. You know, it's my 1 year from now is not something nuts. I think it's something that is actually very doable, and I think people will just start doing it and like, stop talking about it, just do it.
But that makes a lot more sense than just using the buzzword, well, AI is going to define the next year. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go deeper into that. So I
cross-channel optimization, creative media working together.
That
beauty.
Totally makes sense. Well, Anthony Acquisti from Best Friends at Animal Society, always a pleasure.
Always
to talk
a pleasure.
To you.
I love this kid.
We got to take this show on the road.
Can you imagine?
Thank you so much for joining us here at the Assembly. You got to go cross at the Assembly Content Cabana /Time Machine.
Boop.